Let's play here in Bronco country. The San Diego State Aztecs come to town at 3-1. And against the Boise State Broncos here at Albertson Stadium. Mike Cousins, two-time Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Kirk Morrison along with you as we get set to witness a clash between two of the best teams in the Mountain West in the last few years.
This is the game that you circle on your calendar. And I know the coaches want to downplay this so-called rivalry. It is a rivalry. The last four seasons in the Mountain West, these two teams have decided that Mountain West Conference Championship. This is bigger than just an ordinary game. This is the game of the Mountain West Conference.
The challenge today is to try and figure out how to slow down Brett Rypien. He's gone for 300 yards through the air now in 5 straight games dating back to bowl season last year. His head coach, Bryan Harsin, the former Bronco, says we're not wearing capes each week. It's one opponent in front of us, and it's Rocky Long's club, one of the best run-stopping teams in the country. We'll see how they fare against the pass this afternoon. The rare October afternoon kickoff here in Boise. Parents weekend, so a nice crowd on hand as well. And the Broncos, winners of the opening coin toss, defer their choice. San Diego State starts on offense today from their own 25-yard line with some not so familiar faces in the backfield.
Well, I can say this: patience is a virtue. I mean, Ryan Agnew, the redshirt junior quarterback, look, waited 3 years for his opportunity. Christian Chapman, the starter, gets injured. Agnew comes in. He's 2-0 as a starter. Gained a lot of confidence in beating Arizona State. Look, that's San Diego State sideline. They're well aware of what Agnew can do. They've got full confidence in their quarterback.
Chase Jasmine gets the handoff, making his first career start today, and tumbles down a few yards past the 25-yard line. It allows us to take a look at the keys when San Diego State's in control.
San Diego State on offense, look, the news is Agnew. He's the new quarterback. But yet, look, the offense does not change, but the running backs may change. Juwan Washington out, so it's Chase Jasmine and friends. It'll be a multitude of running backs. Boise State defensively, protect yourself at all times. Don't allow the big play like they did to start the second half last week. And don't be lulled by San Diego State offensively, who still huddles in today's college football.
Jasmine quickly in trouble. Durant Miles, the senior, takes him down. And it'll be 3rd and long for a team that runs the ball 66% of the time.
Well, this is a position that they don't want to be in. San Diego State offensively, 3rd and long against, to me, I think the conference best 3rd down defensive team. And that's Boise State. They come at you in different ways, multiple fronts, but an experienced secondary who will give Ryan Agnew some different looks when it comes to 3rd down.
Here comes pressure, quick throw, and it's incomplete. It was short of the sticks anyway for Fred Trevelyan, the senior from Mississippi, and Tyler Horton, the cornerback, back off of injury, helps make the stop.
Now, you mentioned it, Tyler Horton back from injury. Look, he's excited to get out there and play. He missed the last couple games due to injury, and you could tell a fired up Horton as he sat on that route, came up, delivered a nice little tackle, but the ball was dislodged. Off the field already, 3 and out for Boise State on defense.
Brandon Heiklin, the punter, and Khalil Shakir, the freshman, lets it take a hop. An Aztec roll inside the 30-yard line. So it's identical starting field position for the Broncos and the Aztecs, each at their own 25-yard line. Brett Rypien, native of Eastern Washington, has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country so far. 41st career start, and as much as the Aztecs want to try and confuse him, there's not a lot he hasn't seen opposite him defensively.
You said 41 starts. That's an eternity in college football for a quarterback. That's kind of the experience that Brett Rypien possesses from the quarterback position.
Alex Madison navigates his way for 4.5 yards, just shy of the 30-yard line. And Kyrie Woods comes up to make the stop. 70% completion rate. That's an astounding number almost midway through the season.
He's a quarterback with a plan, and the ball is being thrown by Rypien, look, it's going to be a completion. That's what it seems like, because everybody catches the football and everybody's well aware that ball is coming to him.
Real delicate pocket and trying to go deep for John Hightower, but overthrows his receiver, covered by Tariq Thompson.
When you think about, look, this football game, Boise State offensively, just keep ripping Brett Rypien, okay? Just keep throwing the football. 12 touchdowns on the year, no interceptions. And I say this on offense for Boise State, pass the plates around. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to eat today, meaning that receivers, running backs, they all touch the ball. San Diego State defensively, you got to sit in the cheap seats, meaning keep everything in front of you. And then also, you got to find ways to create pressure, get Brett Rypien off the spot.
Here comes the pressure, quick throw, and across the middle, a tumbling receiver collides with Kiava Tozino. And so it's 3 and out for the Broncos.
Creating pressure already, San Diego State. You mentioned Kiava Tozino comes on a nice little pressure, gets in. He forces Brett Rypien to have to get rid of the football a lot quicker than he wanted to. An errant pass on 3rd down, something you don't see too often, but a terrific job, San Diego State defensively, creating a little bit of pressure early on.
Quinn Skillen with a tumbler inside the 30-yard line. Aztecs and Broncos flip the field back and forth. Crisp autumn air here in the Gem State today for a great matchup. Matching 3 and outs on their respective opening drives for San Diego State and Boise State. Just a few minutes gone. First quarter. Mike Cousins, Kirk Morrison with you here today in Boise. We told you about Ryan Agnew, the backup quarterback, getting the start today, but it's also backups at running back and fullback, crucial positions for this team. There's Trevelyan with the catch. A running back is huge. They lose Juwan Washington, who got hurt a couple weeks ago against Eastern Michigan. He was already over 500 yards this year. And fullback speaks for itself, opening those holes for the running back.
Well, that's the position I think people forget at San Diego State. That's the guy that drives.
Needs to leave the game due to an equipment violation.
Oh, equipment violation already. That's something, a point of emphasis. The officials must look like each player must be in compliance with their uniform, meaning make sure the kneecaps are covered by the pants already. Tyson Maeva had to leave for 1 play.
We haven't seen a uniform violation like that since week 1.
We did. We saw the uniform violation. It is a point of emphasis in college football this year. All players must be in compliance. Make sure that the pants, the kneecaps are fully covered. And that's something that officials have been looking at. Players, they have to understand that you will have to leave the game for a play if you are not in compliance.
Broncos collapse on the rush up the middle on 3rd and 7. The Aztecs trying to go through the defensive line with Jasmine, and it doesn't pay off. So 2 drives and 2 punts for San Diego State.
Conservative call there by Jeff Horton, offensive coordinator at San Diego State. They know what this game is going to be all about. It's going to be won at the line of scrimmage, but it's also going to be a field position game. San Diego State electing to punt, try to knock Boise inside their own 10-yard line.
Shakir lets it go, and it's almost identical field position once again for Boise State. A prime export here from Idaho. Potatoes. Kirk and I had the pleasure yesterday to go to the kickoff luncheon for the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I saw some of the biggest potatoes in my life yesterday. Probably like 1.5 foot long, right?
Yeah, they were about the size of my forearm. I've never seen, they're like big boulders, but definitely the hash browns, the fries, whatever you want. The skillet plates were nice and cooked up for us this last couple days. Enjoying being out here in great Boise.
Second drive of the afternoon. Madison joins Rypien in the backfield. And his quick throw is picked off. trying to send it to the perimeter, and he did, but into the arms of Darren Hall, who's got his second interception.
A terrific job by Darren Hall. Just read and react, and he just reads the quarterback. This is the first interception of the year for Brett Rypien. And Darren Hall, just from the beginning of the snap, he saw where Brett Rypien was going with the football. He drove on it, makes the play. That's a huge play for San Diego State. It's the battle of turnovers. Who's going to win that battle? San Diego State already on the board with 1 turnover. That's how you win football games. Creating turnovers. San Diego State up 1.
Hall was mad when he got up because if he doesn't slip, he's gone for 6. But now great starting field position for Agnew and the Aztecs. Jasmine's got a big hole wrapped up around the ankles as he cuts down to the 20-yard line by Keikoa Nawahine. You mentioned the turnovers, how important that is, and it usually leads to victory for both of these teams when they're on the plus side of the margin.
Especially in a matchup like this, the rivalry matchup. Who's going to give? Who is going to be the team that makes the least amount of mistakes? San Diego State so far, they get the first turnover, but can they cash it in? You got to get 7 here.
Short run, big rivalry Saturday. Let's check in with Chris in the studio for more on what's going on.
Yeah, Red River in Dallas, 14 seconds left. Cameron Dicker, this is to win it for the Longhorns, and he nails it. Texas improves to 5-1. They're unbeaten in Big 12 play. They get a huge win over Oklahoma, guys.
Tom Herman. Texas is back. We could say that.
We could say that just about every week, depending on what's going on.
But I think it's for real now. You win that game, the Red River Showdown, they're back.
Pressure up the middle, picked up. Agnew, a back foot throw, and tosses it out of bounds. Last time they had 3rd and 7, elected to run. That didn't work, and here on 3rd and 5, the pass doesn't come to fruition either.
Okay, that's a big block by number 4, Chad Woolsey. He's the backup fullback. If he doesn't make this block, we're talking about a big sack, maybe even pushing San Diego State out of field goal range, but he gets just enough of Riley Wimpy, the linebacker blitzing for Boise State. Terrific job by the backup fullback, giving a block, allowing Agnew to get that ball off, but saves the yardage for a field goal attempt by Barron.
John Barron, one of the best kickers in the country for the try from 37. And he's got it, his 9th made field goal in 10 tries this year. Welcome back to the All-State Saturday kickoff here to Idaho's capital city. Beautiful Boise, 3-0 San Diego State. Brett Rypien intercepted for the first time this year, his 157th attempt of the season. He came into the year, or into this game, with Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. 2 guys with 12 or more touchdown passes, no interceptions. So didn't check the stats from the Alabama game today, but did see the score, and it didn't appear likely there had been an interception. But
yeah, the last time I checked, I saw a 50-burger being served to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Man, that Alabama team is a monster. But look, early on, San Diego State defensively getting the turnover, intercepting Brett Rypien. Let's see how he responds on this next series.
Talking about going backwards for Boise State. That was a massive series of plays that they executed defensively after something that they haven't seen this year, an interception, to get back out there and limit the Aztecs to just 3.
That's a win. And if you're a defensive coordinator in, I don't care, Pop Warner, high school, college, NFL, Andy Avalos, defensive coordinator for Boise State, you got to be excited. You're in a bad situation, and then all of a sudden you hold them to 3. It's a terrific job by Boise State on defense to only allow the 3. Hand it back over to your offense, and hopefully they can score.
The senior Chibo Onyuku, defensive end, comes off the field with the help from the athletic training staff. Rypien twirls it to the 27-yard line. The Aztecs are ready to hit once again, sending Hightower to a low position. It was Kiava Tizino, the middle linebacker.
The hardest hitting player on that San Diego State defense. Tizino, a downhill, I won't call him an assassin, but he is a guy that when he lines you up, he very rarely misses.
Pressure up the middle. Rypien lets it go over the middle, and it's incomplete. He had it into the hands of Modster, and just a few inches separated. Incompletion from big pickup down the field.
Well, first of all, Tizino again up the middle. It's another big hit, and he's not allowing Brett Rypien to get comfortable back there. That's a pass that Rypien, he completes that 9 times out of 10. But when you got a middle linebacker staring you down, that's a difficult thing to step into. Good job again, Tizino. Brett Rypien so far uncomfortable in the pocket.
A little slow to get up after taking that hard hit as well. Both teams utilizing freshman punt returners. Going back, Dado lost it. He tried to fall on it at the 5-yard line. Ball comes loose, and it's Boise State football. Might have been better just to let it go, trying to get it over the shoulder. And Riley Wimpy all the way down the field gives the Broncos a great advantage.
Redshirt freshman number 81, Ethan Dado, you're back there.
There was never possession, recovered by the kicking team. First down.
The thing is, you keep your feet on a certain yard line. And if the ball sails over your head, you almost just let it go. That's a redshirt freshman mistake right there by San Diego State, trying to make an over-the-shoulder catch, and you see what happens. And Mr. Wimpy gets to go to the throne.
And the crown as well, the latest edition.
The turnover throne, it is back.
Madison through the middle, stretches to the goal line, and he's just short inside the 1.
Boise State creating turnovers. That time Wimpy on that punt, the muff punt. And this is where Boise is at its best. Brings up second down.
Another close play at the goal line. He's marked short again. And now the crowd is a little bit displeased after the replay. And a similar result here for Madison.
Yeah, Tariq Thompson does a good job. The Warrior just knifing in there, getting Madison down. They'll probably take another look at that one.
They're loaded up. They got 4 tight ends on the field. Madison right behind them. And he pounds it in for the Broncos touchdown.
You bring in the big package, but it's still about the offensive line. The right guard, Eric Covado, watch him. He pulls, and man, you just walk right into the end zone. When you get the big 6'4", 295-pound redshirt junior out in front, makes the job a lot easier for Madison to just go right through. He could have walked through that hole. Outstanding job by the offensive line. A nice physical run, but physical up front on that line of scrimmage.
Joel Velasquez nails the extra point. 7-3, Broncos over the Aztecs.
Well, you get into a rivalry game, you got to do what? Protect the football. You don't want turnovers. But if you do get the turnover, like Boise State, you better cash in. Madison. Cha-ching!
7-3, Boise State with the lead over San Diego State. There's so many things to enjoy here in Boise. A great downtown scene.
Yes.
Plenty of good restaurants, plenty of outdoor activities as well. You've got the Greenbelt Trail along the river, or you could just hop in the river.
No, I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to you. You can go whitewater raft if you want to. I'm okay.
Here's Agnew, and a bullet crossing route, midfield completion to Trevelyan. We've said his name a bunch here already in the first quarter. His 3rd target and his 2nd catch, that one for 30 yards.
Well, San Diego State, they start their 4th drive of the game. First drive, first play run. 2nd drive, pass. 3rd drive was a run, and then this is the pass. It's off the play action, allowing Agnew enough time in the route to develop, and he delivers a strike right in front, allowing his receiver to catch it, Trevelyan, and be able to advance it.
The Aztecs look for a quick answer, and it's single coverage. The pass falls incomplete. Horton able to break it up.
Oh, terrific job again by Horton. Earlier we saw him, look, his return to the starting lineup. He's been injured the last couple weeks, but he's right there. Great patience, did not panic. Always talk about clinic tape. That's one that you'll watch tomorrow in the film room. Is just having patience, feeling your man where it, and just make a play on the football.
Plenty of time in the pocket, and a very quick tackle as Tyreek Jones comes up, and he's getting the start today in place of DeAndre Pierce at safety. Their leading tackler coming into this game, so Pierce is out today, along with David Moa, the defensive tackle, also not taking the field today for Boise State.
Yeah,
two big losses.
That DeAndre Pierce, that's a huge loss. Not a big loss, huge, because he's the quarterback of the secondary, and one of the sure tacklers on this Boise State defense. Him not being out there, I wonder if San Diego State finds a way to take advantage of having the redshirt freshman Jones, 21, in at safety.
Third down and long. Trevelyan, his third catch. San Diego State has a first down as Agnew connects with his senior wide receiver.
Good old flanker drive. Flanker drive is a wide receiver lined up close to the formation, and he comes all the way across. It's a late developing route, but a lot of moving parts. You get the protection up front. That's an easy pass for Agnew. It's a catch and run element. Trevelyan already, he's been the catch and run element guy, meaning just get the ball in his hands and let him take off. Another promising drive for San Diego State.
Toss for Jasmine, and a collision in the backfield as he went down. Tyson Maeva was coming through there. He got blocked in.
It doesn't matter if you wrap him up. You get a shoelace, you just get him down.
So 2nd and 11, a loss of 1 on the play.
This may be the biggest down of the drive so far, because San Diego State has struggled in 3rd and long. They got to find a way to cut this 2nd down for a manageable 3rd down.
All sorts of time for the Texan quarterback. He puts it up, 1st down and more to the 20, and the ball squirts loose. The Broncos recover, taking it back after the Rypien interception, and Horton's got it. Headed for the turnover thrown.
Horton will go to the throne, but this play is an effort play by Chase Atada, number 93. He comes all the way from his defensive tackle position, doesn't give up on the play. Watch 93, he's going to come in flash, gets the ball out, and when he does that, Horton's right there for the scoop. That's a terrific job by a defensive tackle. You got to understand where he came from. He was lined up on the line of scrimmage and chased that play all the way down. And then Jasmine at the end, a little extra. So what went from a promising drive again, now another turnover for San Diego State.
4 first-quarter giveaways between these two clubs. Octavius Evans, who had his first catch of the season last weekend against Wyoming, hauls that one in with a leg injury slowing him down early to start the year. And back to Horton, who recovered that fumble in the season opener when the Broncos took down Troy. He recovered 2 fumbles in that game, so he's been huge to help out their turnover number.
Yeah, let's not forget he took him to the house too as well. Touchdowns. That time I think he's a little upset that he didn't return the fumble for a touchdown.
Rypien completes the short out to Chase Blakely, the tight end, native of Idaho. And it's 3rd down and about 8 yards to go for Boise State.
Got to give a ton of credit to the San Diego State defense. They're playing fantastic so far. They've kept Brett Rypien in check. They've made him check the ball down. They have not allowed the big play, which is what Boise State offensively has feasted on this season, is getting the ball down the field, the big play strikes. It's a good job so far by San Diego State limiting the big play.
Rypien looks to the edge. Passing complete. There was contact there along the outside with the cornerback Luke Barku. No flag, though. Oh, there is a flag now on the opposite side of the field.
An eligible receiver downfield, offense number 5. Number 5 was covered up on the end of the line. That penalty's decline brings up 4th down.
Go passing complete. The penalty goes against Boise State. This has been a very interesting first 15 minutes.
We've got turnovers, we've got penalties, we got mistakes, muff punts. But this is what you expect in a rivalry game. Two teams going at it for Mountain West supremacy.
It was a muffed punt return last time. This time a muffed snap. And the ball's down at the 31-yard line. Turnover on downs for Boise State. The 5th giveaway in the first 15 minutes.
That's the end of the
Still
first quarter.
plenty to play here in Boise. And if the next 3 quarters are as good as the first, it's going to be an interesting finish. 1 quarter gone. It's Boise State with a 4-point lead over San Diego State. Mike Cousins, Kirk Morrison along with you. This describes what we've watched so far. The surprising number is the number of statistical turnovers for the Broncos equals their total yards. But, Kirk,
Look, that could have been another turnover. There's a turnover on downs. Technically, I call it a turnover. You drop a punt situation like that.
Agnew downfield connects with Waring, the tight end. He cuts it back inside the 10. This great field position. The drive starting at the 31 for the Aztecs. Play of 24 yards on first down after a muffed.
If I'm San Diego State, that's where I'm attacking at. And you see it already. The nice little Y corner route by Waring.
Asman getting his first start today of his career. Takes it inside the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal coming up.
You're San Diego State. You need 6 points here. You got to go 7. You got to get the touchdown, point after attempt. That's what this drive has to be. You've created 3 different opportunities to score, and you've only got a field goal on the scoreboard. You got to get a touchdown here. And if I'm Rocky Long, this is 4-down territory. In this game, in this environment, 4-down territory.
Agnew gives to Jasmine again. He slips one tackle, hurdles his way into the end zone. Touchdown San Diego State with a flag at the end of the play.
I think they're going to get tight end Parker Houston, number 82, just holding on a little bit too long on that edge. It's going to back the Aztecs out.
Offense number 82. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
It was a terrific job by Houston, number 82, driving his defender into the end zone. But at some point, you just got to let go. He's going to come from the right side of your screen. That little extra push right there, holding on to the jersey. Official standing right there. That's an easy flag on a play in which Jasmine was going to score.
Wearing the tight end to the top of your screen. Wilson, the receiver, to the bottom. Backfield emptied out, and Houston moves early.
Back-to-back penalties on Houston. Forcing San Diego State back
Ball
again.
start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back for San Diego State offensively. You've had the opportunities. Now all of a sudden, 2 penalties in a row. And now you're forced to have to draw up some plays to get you into the end zone. This is what Ryan Agnew is all about. I want to see, how does he handle this situation? You put the ball in your quarterback's hands. Let him find the right matchup and go after it.
The whole time he looked to the corner, and the throw is out of bounds. Beautiful ball. Nice job to bring it in by Waring, but just too wide of the end zone.
You know, you like the throw and you like where he's going. but you got to realize who that is. That's 26, Avery Williams, the former walk-on at Boise State. He's their best corner. So I'm not so sure I want to attack Avery Williams with my tight end. That's great coverage, great patience by Williams.
What do you think they do here?
Well, look, there's two different plays I'm going to go with. Both are run plays. Either you go with a nice delayed draw here, or you have the quarterback keep the ball. You got an outstanding kicker. I go with a draw.
Agnew back to pass. He tucks it in as he gets crumpled to the ground. Curtis Weaver bursting through for his third sack of 2018, and that sets the stage for John Barron, the kicker.
Yeah, that's the one thing that you did not want, was to take a sack, because it pushes the field goal attempt back. And Weaver, the left defensive end, who's been playing outstanding, watching him just get up the field. They list him as a backup, but to me, he's a starter. It's like 1A and 1B between he and Frazier. You got to make sure you keep an eye on him. That time, forcing the field goal, push back.
Barron good once today and now twice, but there's got to be some lingering disappointment for the Aztecs, considering they had a 1st and goal at the 7. It's the first October home game for Boise State since October 20th of 2012. Wow. Against UNLV. That was also a 1:30 kickoff, so it's not something that the fans here in Boise get to enjoy all too often. What have the Aztecs done so well defensively to stymie Rypien?
They stayed on top and tackled. They have not allowed the big play, which has been deflating for defenses going up against Boise, but so far San Diego State keeping everything in front.
And off Madison, the junior, quickly bottled up by the defensive front. Second best rushing defense in the country for San Diego State, averaging about 65 yards a game that they give up on the ground, only trailing Michigan State, a very impressive 40 yards a game allowed entering play this weekend.
So you got to get creative in running the ball against San Diego State. It's not just the running back position. You may have to involve wide receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Here's Hightower looking for space around the outside. And good penetration as he gets tripped up pretty quickly. Parker Baldwin was the first one to get through there.
You got the running back going. Now you've got the wide receivers going. You want the Boise on offense. They need a drive. They have not had a good drive. So executing down the field to get a score. Because right now San Diego State defensively, they're taking away the big play. They're taking away the big play. But when Cord comes in on 3rd down, it's usually been 2 plays. Counter right or counter left.
They fake the run. He throws it, lost it, and it's intercepted. The Aztecs take it away. Ronley Lakalaka, the senior linebacker, a one-handed snare. Great field position once again for SDSU.
This is one of those games where you try to save those trick plays. You save those types of plays for these moments. And look, when Chase Core, the backup quarterback, comes in, it's been counter right, counter left. This time, he fakes the counter, pulls it back up. He had a wide receiver streaking down the field. But San Diego State reading their keys. It was Tizino again, the middle linebacker, who's been a menace today for Boise State offensively. He's been coming in on blitzes off the edge, and that time he creates that turnover. Little linebacker love there. One guy creates it, another guy picks it off. 44 and 39 with the turnover.
Jasmine straight ahead, nowhere to go. Wimpy meets him right away. So for Boise right now, they've had 8 possessions, 3 first downs, 3 turnovers, plus a turnover on downs.
And those 3 turnovers have been interceptions, though. It's one thing to have the fumble or the things of that nature, but 3 interceptions by the quarterback position, which is Boise State's strength. Their quarterback position has not played well today, and San Diego State has been feasting. But we get down to this situation again, where Boise State's defense inside the red zone have stood tall so far.
Agnew toward the end zone, back corner incomplete, intended for Wilson. A flag at the end of the play.
See if they get Horton holding.
Pass interference, defense, number 14. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, automatic first down.
You like the call by Agnew, going for the end zone, the left side of the screen. I don't see a flag there. That's good defense by Tyler Orton. That's not a flag there. I think the official did not see what we saw in that replay. I mean, both guys are jockeying for position. I thought when the ball was in the air, both players had equal opportunity to catch that pass. It's a bad pass, a bad call by the official.
Aztecs load up on tight ends. Jasmine at the goal line. Touchdown, San Diego State. The turnovers come back to bite for the Broncos. They've given it away 4 times. They still had the lead until now on the 2-yard run.
And it's very silent here at Albertson Stadium. You look at these faces of the crowd. They didn't expect this. San Diego State going up.
It's been an incredibly impressive first half from the Aztecs, trying to avenge a loss on their home field last year against Boise State. That was their first loss of the season. Now looking to end, perhaps, for Boise State, their postseason New Year's 6 bowl game type hopes. They've got a 6-point lead at the break, severely limiting the Broncos' offense. Boise State ball to start the third. Stay with us at the half. Welcome back to Albertson Stadium here in Boise, Idaho. 13-7, the Aztecs of San Diego State in their Mountain West Conference opener with the lead over the Boise State Broncos. Mike Cousins, Kirk Morrison, so glad to have you back here with us. Pretty evenly matched first half between the Boise State Broncos and the San Diego State Aztecs, just not in the categories the coaches would want.
No, the turnover battle. That's what it is for both sides of the football. San Diego State on offense, they're doing great, but they've turned the ball over. On offense, as a running back, just drop the football. Then you look at the muff punt. Just look at the opportunities that Boise State has lost. They've also turned the ball over in a way I didn't think. Interceptions by the quarterback, Brett Rypien. Chase Cordes had an interception. So for right now, it's been both offenses that have really dropped the ball, if you want to say.
With a couple minutes to go, Boise State had the ball at the end of the second quarter. They were driving, not able to convert that into points. Fortunately for them, in their comeback effort, they get the ball here to start the third quarter. Most surprising to me, Kirk, and I'm curious to see if you agree, was that Brett Rypien turned the ball over. He'd had 1 fumble he lost earlier this year, but no interceptions. Picked twice after coming into this game. It was just him and Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama who started this weekend with at least 12 touchdown passes, no interceptions. So see how he handles that to start the half. Nice pickup to Hightower along the outside to get things rolling.
A couple of easy throws. That's how you start this half for Boise State. What are the second half adjustments that were made inside that locker room? Because this offense, we have not seen Boise State's offense look like this at all last year, this year. So what are, to me, the adjustments made for this half?
Madison with good bursts through the hole to the 41-yard line, first down. We got to look at your keys to start the game. Let's revisit and see how things have held up.
Well, I said keep ripping, Brett Rypien. He's been ripping, but he's been ripping interceptions. 2 on the game, and in passing the plate around, everybody eats, but when you're 2 of 9 on third down, you haven't sustained drives. And San Diego State, they've been in the cheap seats. They've kept everything in front of them, and they've created pressure, making it very uncomfortable for Brett Rypien today.
He took maybe 3 or 4 deep shots in the first half. Most of those were overthrown, and a lot of it was because of the pressure that the Aztecs were able to get, whether it was Kiava Tizino, the middle linebacker, Noble Hall, the defensive tackle. both did a great job coming right up the chute.
Well, I think we've seen Brett Rypien when that pocket is clean, when he's got the opportunity to throw downfield, when he's able to set his feet. San Diego State defensively, they have not allowed him to set his feet and get comfortable back there.
Blitz was coming, and he knew exactly where he wanted to go. Sean Modster brings it in along the sideline. It's just been short passes today for the most part, coming off a game last week where he completed 67% of his passes and had 7 throws that went for 20 or more.
Yeah, the explosive plays from a week ago have not been there today. You got to work it the long, hard way.
Second time they've called his number. It was 4th and 1 earlier. Here 3rd and 1, and Rypien moves the chains.
It's a big drive here. You come out of the break, halftime, you make the adjustments, and you want to go out there, put points on the board. Give your team the confidence that, look, fellas, we throw that first half away. It's a new half of football. The old cliche, hey, it's 0-0 ball game. But I think Boise State really has to take that and bring that to life here in the second half.
Play action. Here comes pressure. Quickly gets rid of the football. Tariq Thompson hounding down in coverage. We saw Brian Harsin along the sideline, the head coach for the Broncos. He had white polo shirt in the first half. Now he's switched over to a blue sweatshirt, maybe trying to change his luck. We know on the other sideline, Rocky Long, whenever the Aztecs win, that's what he sticks with, is whatever he was wearing for that game.
Yeah, he's superstitious. These coaches are. They want to make sure that their players understand that this is how we do things. If we win this way, let's continue to do it. Now you lose, Rocky's got to change the whole outfit.
Second down, mostly lateral movement there on the run for Madison. Baldwin making his 46th straight appearance, longest streak on the team on the tackle, and it's 3rd down and long.
We haven't said his name much, but Parker Baldwin's he's the captain of this defense. You know, one of the older players on there. You mentioned the career starts, but 33, he plays that Aztec position. And for people who don't know the Aztec position, it was one that's a hybrid linebacker, hybrid safety. The great Brian Urlacher, who played for Rocky Long at New Mexico, brought that position to life.
Here comes pressure. Rypien lets it fly. Miscommunication between he and Modster, and it's 4th down. So the issues continue here for Rypien. Came into this game 70% completion rate, and today he's fallen far short of that as the Broncos still trail by 6.
But when you create pressure like San Diego State has continued to do to start this second half, you start to rush, and that's where Brett Rypien's rushing the football. He's trying to get it out way too fast, not allowing the route to develop. That's because of the pressure being created by San Diego State.
Kobe Smith calls for the fair catch. He's got it at the 16-yard line. First half for the backup quarterback Ryan Agnew, replacing the injured Christian Chapman. Didn't make any mistakes, kept them right in it, going 7 for 13.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he didn't turn the ball over, and that's what you want from the quarterback, Agnew. And then Jasmine and Friends, the running backs, look, it's been about touches, not yards. 20 touches, 20 carries. That's what you want for San Diego State. It opens up the passing game. And for Boise State, protect yourself at all times. They did not start the second half that way last week versus Wyoming. You have to make sure you're able to get off the field early and not allow the San Diego State offense to drive down the field to start the second half.
Jasmine with a spin, tumbles forward a yard shy of the first down. It's going to be probably a series of career highs for him in the succeeding weeks. Took a career high 31 snaps a couple weeks ago in that overtime victory against Eastern Michigan. He had 112 yards against Arizona State, and today proven to be a critical part of their offense as they try to control the clock with the lead. He's got the first down and evades Horton toward the boundary. I loved hearing about Chase Jasmine and the kind of guy he is. Brings a lot of personality to them and a lot of strength as well against EMU. with 82 of his 94 yards coming after first contact.
They list him at 5'11", 195, but he runs as if he's 220-pound running back. The yards after contact, they attribute to him because of the feet. He never stops his feet. That's what great running backs do. When they find that hole, they accelerate, but they keep those feet moving, forcing it, making it so much harder for a defender to bring them down.
The rare non-chase Jasmine run. It's Jordan Bird taking the carry on first down for the Aztecs. Run on second down, 3rd and short coming up. Bill Barnwell on ESPN.com earlier this week had an interesting kind of counterfactual article about Drew Brees' career and what would have happened, say, if Eli Manning ended up in San Diego, or if Drew Brees ended up as the starting quarterback in Miami instead of Dante Culpepper 12 years ago. Just a lot of interesting things to consider how the NFL might be different today. Bill Barnwell with the piece on ESPN.com.
Well, I think also to kind of add on to that story, who was the head coach of Miami at that time? Nick Saban. The Alabama
college football might be different.
Definitely. Wow. That's the link between the two.
Agnew's got a clean pocket. Now it breaks down. He runs. Not enough to get the first down. That's a major hit. Looked like helmet to helmet on the collision from Maeva, the middle linebacker. That could be targeting.
It could be. I believe at my first initial look, that looks to be targeting. But my initial look was the crown of the helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that looks to be targeting.
There is no foul on the play for targeting.
But that play can still be reviewed. They may not be called on the field, but there's still an opportunity from the replay booth to call down and take a look at that play. And I think that's what San Diego State is doing right now at the moment, kind of stalling before they go back for their next play.
I'm very surprised by that.
I'm very surprised.
By the letter of the law, Rule 913, if there's forcible contact with the crown of the helmet, that's a targeting penalty. And from the live look and then the replay, that was what I saw.
I saw the crown of the helmet strike the offensive player.
And here they go, 4th and 1. Jasmine got it, and we'll see if he gets a friendly spot.
It's all about the spot here. Well, I'll tell you that. You think about the decision now. I think you're on the road, you got to take the chances. And I do want to see where the spot is at, though, because I'm looking at Jasmine as he's keeping those legs moving. I mentioned it earlier. Are they ruling forward progress or where the ball is? And right now, as I'm looking, it's just a bunch of bodies, so probably hard to respot that football. I thought he may have had the line in the game, but if you're Boise, hey, that's what you needed, the big play. Stopping there, and Rocky Long rolling the dice here on 4th down on the road.
And the Broncos take over 1st and 10 in San Diego State territory. Rypien looking to get a big play for the first time today, and it was nearly intercepted. How about this? Playing their first October afternoon home game in 6 years. It's not often they have to battle the sun.
Yeah.
That's the end of the quarter.
Boise State football to begin the 4th, 15 minutes to play. San Diego State trying to go to 4 and 1. Coming in as the underdog. The Aztecs forcing turnovers, have been ready to play. It's a 1-possession game. Start of the 4th here at Albertson Stadium in Boise. Mike Cousins and Kirk Morrison along with you this afternoon. Boise State today has had 1 scoring drive, and it covered 4 yards after a muffed punt, and that's the only time they've reached pay dirt today.
Yes, San Diego State has held them in check. Their defense has stepped up to the challenge today, forcing Brett Rypien an uncharacteristic game.
And that's led to a change at quarterback, at least for 1 snap. Chase Cord is in here to hand things off to Madison. And he doesn't immediately come off the field. So now the question is, what's the plan and how long is he going to stay out there?
Well, that's also, too, we've seen Brett Rypien take some shots today. and you have to see if we get an injury update, possibly. That's the number one thing you're looking at. But he's over there with his helmet on the sideline. We've actually seen this before last year in terms of a quarterback coming in to replace Rypien at times.
Cord keeps it inside the 40-yard line. Yeah, last year it was the Kansas transfer, Montel Cozart, and it was an up-and-down season for Rypien. This year, the narrative entering the year was it's Brett's year. He's in full control. But today when Cord has come in, it's been fairly obvious that it's been for the intent for him to run the ball. He's also been intercepted once.
As Brett Rypien returns into the game.
Stronger arm, throwing 2nd and 14. Richardson along the sideline. Do you think that Rypien having to come out for a couple of plays impacts him in any way?
No, I think he's went through this last year. He's faced adversity. He's bounced back last year. I think same thing this year.
Slant for Shakir, hits the blue turf, incomplete, 4th down. Rypien just looks to the sideline, staying on the field on 4th down for now, and then they bring on the punt team.
Another promising drive. The holding call backs him up. I don't know if you make a change at quarterback, but I think Chase Cord comes in and gives you an extra player in the run game, because San Diego State, they're committed to stopping the run.
Skillen last time got his punt down at the 1. Fair catch called for at the 5-yard line by Kobe Smith. Clock watch is on as the Aztecs take over. The Aztecs are pinned back deep here on the road, starting at their own 5-yard line. But in conference play, going on the road hasn't been as difficult as you might think. 5 straight away from San Diego in Mountain West play. They've come away the victor. That last road loss for them, 2016 against Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming, Josh Allen, the quarterback. San Diego State scored at the end of the game, and instead of going for the point after attempt, they go for 2. They lose 34-33 on the failed 2-point attempt. So it's a loss, but it was a loss with an asterisk at the end.
For guts.
Yes, for guts. On the road, you got to have gutsy. And we've seen it earlier. Rocky Long with the 4th down call on his side of the 50. He's here to win a game. He's going to go for it any chance he gets.
Here's a reversal from Jasmine. He got bottled up on one side and sprints all the way to the 20-yard line. 1st down, San Diego State, a gain of 14.
I've seen that before. And I saw it the last game San Diego State played against Eastern Michigan. It's Jasmine getting into the line of scrimmage, but I talked about it earlier. He keeps the feet moving, and he just finds daylight, gets all the way back to the outside. This is what Jasmine is doing. Look at the confidence of the young running back. And only his 2nd start. Well, actually, 1st start.
First career start today.
I'm sorry. His 2nd opportunity to be the lead back. That's a nice run for Jasmine.
He had to take over a couple weeks ago against Eastern Michigan when Juwan Washington got injured. And this has been a nice start to the drive for the Aztecs after having a 2nd straight drive start way deep in their own territory. 2 drives ago, they were back at their own 1, and this one from their own 5-yard line.
Well, they go back to doing what they do best, which is run the football. It's relying on that offensive line. Romer, Dixon, Godino, Ishmael, Pope. That offensive line, they want to get this game nice and dirty, meaning nasty up front. Where last year they felt that Boise State won the battle at the line of scrimmage, and so far this 2nd half, San Diego State taking it over.
Agnew's got all sorts of time. Pressure comes, and he throws across his body. Parker Houston, who's been penalized a few times today, comes up with the catch. Native of Nevada, had an offer to play in this state for Idaho, offer from Toledo as well. Chose the Aztecs. Weather-wise, certainly came away a winner.
Absolutely. But who's the winner here on third down? San Diego State. You've got options here. 3rd and 2. Not only can you run the football, but you can pass it. But knowing San Diego State, you keep this ball on the ground.
They do. It's a first down and more. Jordan Byrd down the sideline. One Bronco to beat. High-stepping his way all the way to the end zone. 72 yards on the toss, and the Aztecs grow the advantage.
You pull out the specialty plays when you need to. 3rd and short. And Jeff Horton, the offensive coordinator at San Diego State, does what? Calls on the true freshman, Jordan Byrd, from Albuquerque, New Mexico, but probably the biggest play for San Diego State this season.
Prior to that drive, they'd picked up 1 first down in the half. And now they get set to go for 2. They can make it a 2-touchdown lead with 10 minutes to play on the road. Jasmine back in the game at running back. Woolsey the fullback, and Houston the tight end in motion. Play action, back of the end zone, diving try intended for Waring, the other tight end, incomplete. And so it stays a 19-7 lead for San Diego State. Back up running back today, and they're going deep into the stable.
They went all the way to the bottom of the playbook, calling on the true freshman, turning this thing into a track meet. Jordan Byrd.
Upset alert is on. Rocky passage for the Broncos here on their home turf as they trail San Diego State 19-7. 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go, 4th quarter. And a huge run from Jordan Byrd, who had just had his 4th career carry. He had 1 carry coming into this game. 3 have come today, and that was the longest run of the season. There's a lot of credit to go around. Chase Jasmine got away from being stuffed on that last drive, and that led to the touchdown run from Byrd.
You got to talk about the great blocking up front. It starts with 82, Parker Houston. He gets the seal. And then the right tackle, Ryan Pope, he leads the escort. And when you get great blocking like this, Jordan Byrd doesn't have to do much. He finds nothing but open blue turf. And the true freshman just turns the Jets on. And those are Jets. Those are the Jets that a track speed guy. I like the way he crossed the finish line there.
They get about 6 on the first down throw.
Now they're in 2-minute drill. The clock is not your friend. You need 2 scores, 2 touchdowns to win this football game. So not only you need that and a stop defensively. San Diego State offensively, they just want to run the clock. Defensively, keep the routes in front of them.
And there's a bigger picture to consider here. It's just game number 5 of the year for Boise State, but already 1 loss in week 3 of the season against Oklahoma State, which could lose today against Iowa State in action right now in a very high-scoring game. It's not something that's being thought about on the sidelines for the Broncos, but they're thinking about New Year's 6 bowl game possibility, trying to compete with UCF out of the American Conference, which is still perfect record-wise.
Yeah, they haven't lost in 2 years. So, well, last season, this season, they got the longest active winning streak in FBS. And the drop pass is not going to help you there.
Modster lost it.
But they're in 2-minute mode. I mean, it's hurry up, get the ball out of your hands quick, get it to your playmakers, get out of bounds, try to preserve as much time as you can. You got 2 timeouts left as well, but you got to hurry up.
And if you want to see UCF just Keep the channel right here. They've got SMU coming up after this game wraps up. First down grab, A.J. Richardson. This is about as in tune as the Broncos have looked today, but part of that's got to be because they're getting those underneath looks from San Diego State.
Yeah, San Diego State only rushing 3, and Tizino, the linebacker, he's adding to the rush a little bit later. I think Rocky Long trying to heat him up now.
Tizino gets pressure, and that forces the incomplete pass from Rypien. That's the second time we've seen some nice sportsmanship in the backfield. Tizino gave a pretty good knock there to Rypien and then extended his fist to say, hey, I'm enjoying competing with you right now. And Rypien gave it back. Rypien threw it where only his guy could get it. Nicely done to Richardson.
I said it before, Brett Rypien in the 2-minute drill, especially we saw it before the half, and even now, to me, the reads are easy, the throws are easy for him. This is where he's in tune. This is almost more advantageous for Rypien.
Threw a ground ball over the middle. Taylor Hawkins almost came up with it, 2nd and 10.
Now San Diego State, look, know where you're at on the field. As you enter the red zone, this field starts to shrink a little bit. So you could play a little bit more tighter coverage. I think if the ball was, you know, out past the opposite 50-yard line, the other side of the 50, you played a little cushion. Now you take that cushion away. You see now at the top of the screen, pressing at the line of scrimmage.
Rypien on the run toward the first down marker. He's got it. They move the chains.
This is the best drive we've seen Boise all game long. And this is where, regardless of how he's played in the first half and throughout this game, you just got to trust in your senior quarterback that he's going to make the right decisions down the stretch.
He throws inside the 5-yard line. Nice wrap up. C.T. Thomas sets up 1st and goal to 2.
Nice strike from Brett Rypien. You know he's got it in him. Starting to heat up in this final part of the game.
4 receivers with Madison, who plunges toward the goal line. Touchdown, Boise State. And it ain't over yet.
When you need a drive, you need a play, you get all the way down there, hand it to your tailback. Get behind that offensive line, the interior of that offensive line, center, Garrett Larson, Quevedo, Molchin. Get behind there, get into the end zone. A huge score for Boise State. After this point after attempt, now you need your defense. Need your defense to come make a play.
Joel Velasquez for the 2nd extra point attempt today. Interesting we saw him out there the first time, considering the trouble that Hayden Hogarth, the regular kicker, has had this year. 4 for 7 on his field goal tries. And when we spoke with Brian Harsin during the week, without being critical of any of his players, he certainly expressed his disappointment with how the kicking has gone this year. Yeah. They showed great urgency on that drive. Rypien was able to rear back and do what he does best, find open receivers, taking 2:02 off the clock, and they've got 2 timeouts. So they'll try and limit the Aztecs here and get the ball back.
But if I'm defensive coordinator for Boise State and Diablos, I'm gathering my guys up, bringing my defense together on that sideline, and I'm saying we just need a stop, fellas. We need one play. A turnover, a 3 and out, a stop to get the ball back to your offense. It's taking life. But that's not going to help out either.
That's a massive miscue for Boise State, kicking that ball out of bounds. Boise voted to win the division for the 6th straight year, getting all 22 first-place votes. Utah State certainly looking very good yesterday. San Diego State a win today in their conference opener. Makes them even with Nevada for the time being.
Look at those Hawaii Warriors at the top.
2-0, 5-1 overall. Great start to the year. So 3:05 to go. They need a couple of first downs to try and seal this thing.
Defensively, you got to figure out, okay, you're going to load up to stop the run. And after this play, I think you use a timeout. But this is where I need to keep someone on this defense, whether it's a safety or a linebacker, to keep my eye on the quarterback, number 9, Ryan Agnew. Jasmine's the downhill runner, but the bootleg in the legs of Agnew can steal you a first down. Be alert.
Agnew, he's got time. Defense collapses. Going backwards a couple, but he stays in bounds, forces the timeout. If the Broncos can come up with a stop on 3rd down and 13, they can hope to get the ball back. Shade under 2 minutes to go and needing a touchdown. They get what they wanted. Brian Harsin, right in the official's ear along the sideline, gets the timeout, the last one for the Broncos.
Yeah, that kick out of bounds. Remember, this drive started at the 35.
Boise State.
You get a good punt here. You push Boise State inside of possibly its own 20-yard line. You're going to make them have to go almost the length of the field.
Avery Williams. The Broncos to start the drive at the 33.
Let's look at the situation now. 1 minute, 59 seconds on the clock. No timeouts. So I'm telling my receivers, catch the ball, get out of bounds. Now, if you get the line to gain for a first, we know the chains move, the clock stops, and you have the opportunity to get reset. But you're calling 2 plays, possibly 3 plays in the huddle. And this is where your big-time players have to come alive. Sean Monster, A.J. Richardson, those guys, they have to come alive in this situation for Boise State offensively.
The Aztecs dial up a blitz on 1st down. Rypien finds Thomas.
And this is the fine line of knowing where you're at on the field for San Diego State. Does Rocky continue to blitz and put his corners on man-to-man coverage? Or does he play a little zone and make Rypien find a spot?
San Diego State has done well to limit the big play today. Rypien talking to the officials there.
Then they call grounded.
Yeah, there's the flag.
That's a loss of down and the yardage.
It wasn't outside the tackle box. Nobody was in the vicinity of that ball.
But that's a 4-year senior. You can't make that play. That's
intentional grounding. Offense number 4. There was no eligible receiver in the area, and the ball did not get past the line of scrimmage.
This continues to be a strangely uncharacteristic day
down at the spot
for Brett Rypien.
Yeah, that's a 4-year senior, 4-year starter. Well, I think there was no player in the vicinity on where that ball was thrown. Look, now you got a 3rd down situation, uncharacteristic for Brett Rypien. You don't expect that from your 4-year starter.
Rypien's got time. Tests the middle, incomplete. And the day for the Broncos comes down to 1 snap.
That's how huge that penalty was. It was a loss of down. And you don't convert here on 3rd down. Now you've got 4th. And this is the ball game right here. This is the ball game for Boise State. I'm looking for number 8, Sean Monster. Where's Sean Monster at? He's right here in the slot. At the bottom in the slot. I'm going right here, number 8.
With the game on the line, a heave from Rypien is too long, incomplete. And the Aztec celebration begins here in Boise.
And Sean Monster stopped running. The go-to receiver, number 8. And Rypien was going his way the entire way. He snapped that football. His eyes were locked on number 8, Sean Monster. And Monster just stopped running. Just stopped running. I mean, that ball cleared him by 10 yards. He wasn't expecting the football. And San Diego State, a terrific job defensively. 3 Aztecs around that play. And wow, as they start to head for the exits here at Albertson Stadium, you got to tip your cap to that Aztec defense. They gave Brett Rypien fits today.
4th largest crowd in this stadium's history heads home with a 19-13 San Diego State defeat of Boise State. Now just 90 seconds away.
You talk about the game plan, the game calling. First of all, Rocky Long, the head coach, his defensive calls today. I mean, Brett Rypien, we were here a couple weeks back against UConn. They had 800 yards of offense,
which I believe was the biggest disparity of total yardage between 2 FBS teams since they started keeping modern stats.
Unbelievable performance then, but now, I mean, Brett Rypien, uncharacteristic, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions today. San Diego State defensively, whether it was Tizino, whether it was Hall, I mean, a collective effort. And then let's go back to the offensive side for San Diego State. Ryan Agnew, his 3rd career start. And how about that for a resume? You put Arizona State a win, Eastern Michigan, and now a Boise State win, which is something that Christian Chapman, the starter, has never done, beating Boise State. So already Ryan Agnew, the starter for San Diego State right now, checking a box off in beating Boise State at Boise. What a huge win for San Diego State to come in here and shock the Broncos.
It changes the complexion of the race in the Mountain West. It changes the perception of Boise State for the remainder of this season and elevates the Aztecs. A dominant defensive performance here on the blue. Rocky Long and San Diego State are now 4-1 and 1-0 in conference play. Thanks so much for being with us. It was an exciting one. For all of our crew, led by Tom Schofield, my partner Kirk Morrison, statter Tim Swartz, and statistician Joe Sullivan. I'm Mike Cousins saying so long. Goal Line comes your way next here on ESPNU.